I want to start this video with a statement that sounds wrong. It sounds so wrong that most analysts won't say it, but the evidence is overwhelming. The historical pattern is undeniable, and understanding it is crucial to understanding what comes next. Attacking Iran may have made Iran more dangerous, structurally, fundamentally more dangerous, because the operation removed the one man who had a religious prohibition against nuclear weapons, sitting above the people who have always wanted one. Ali Khamenei had a fatwa, a formal religious ruling that nuclear weapons are forbidden by Islam. That fatwa died with him on March 1st, 2026. And the people who are now in control of Iran's nuclear material, Iran's enrichment infrastructure, and Iran's military decision-making have no such theological constraint. To understand why this matters, you need to understand what the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps actually is, because most coverage treats them like a military unit. They are not. The IRGC is a state within a state. They control Iran's entire ballistic missile program. They control the nuclear program's military dimensions. They even control the Strait of Hormuz naval operations. Every proxy network, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Iraq Shia militias, they control between 30 and 40% of Iran's entire economy through a network of business conglomerates. They run intelligence and internal security. Before the war started, the IRGC anticipated exactly what would happen. They had watched the June 2025 strikes. They had studied the U.S. decapitation doctrine, and they built a resilience strategy specifically designed to survive it. They decentralized command authority, pushing decision-making authority far down the ranks before the first bomb dropped. The idea is simple. If you kill the head, the body keeps fighting because the body was already authorized to act. The result, on Wednesday, March 4th, day 5 of the war, Iran fired on Turkey. Turkey is a NATO member. That was not an order from IRGC High Command. That was a mid-ranking IRGC officer operating under delegated authority, making a autonomous decision to attack a NATO nation. Think about what that means. You've gone from one predictable adversary operating under centralized command to dozens of semi-autonomous armed units operating on survival instinct, with no one above them to say stop. Here is the lesson every surviving IRGC commander is learning in real time as U.S. bombs fall on Tehran. Iraq had no nuclear weapon. 2003, regime change, Saddam Hussein executed. Libya had a nuclear program. 2003, Gaddafi voluntarily gave it up in exchange for normalized relations with the West. In 2011, regime changed. Gaddafi killed. North Korea has nuclear weapons, and the result for that is Kim Jong-un gets phone calls, summits, international negotiations. Nobody ever bombs North Korea. Iran is watching all three of those films simultaneously right now, and the conclusion writes itself. The only protection against what is currently happening to Iran is the weapon that makes this operation suicidal to attempt. And there is historical context that makes this pattern undeniable, because this is not the first time this has happened. The U.S. bombing of North Vietnam, Ho Chi said, "You can kill 10 of my men for every one I kill of yours, but even at those odds, you will still lose and I will win." He was right. External military pressure on a population with a strong national identity doesn't break them, it hardens them. The London Blitz, Hitler bombed civilian London for 57 consecutive nights to break British morale. The result was the opposite. The psychological mechanism is always the same. Sociologists call it identity crystallization. When a group faces existential threat from an outside force, internal divisions disappear. Factional disputes stop. The question of whether you agree with your own government becomes irrelevant compared to the shared identity of we are all under attack. Iran had massive internal protests in 2024, 25, and even into early 2026. Millions of Iranians in the streets protested against the regime. The moment U.S. bombs started falling, external threat activated identity crystallization. Some of those same protesters are now defending the regime not because they love it, but because it is being attacked by a foreign power. So where does this go? There are three realistic scenarios. Scenario 1, the IRGC survives, consolidates, and selects a new supreme leader who is functionally their puppet, a clerical face on a military government. Iran continues, but harder, with no theological ceiling on nuclear development and a permanent institutional memory of what happened in February 2026. Scenario 2, the state collapse, the IRGC fractures along factional lines, ethnic minorities seize the moment, 92 million people, multiple armed factions, no functioning central government. This is what the United States is hoping for. Iranian people rising up. This is what Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and every country bordering Iran is terrified of. Scenario 3, popular revolution, installs a secular democratic government, which is Trump's stated goal. Historically, almost unprecedented on this timeline, revolutions take years, not weeks. The IRGC has guns and has always been willing to use them on protesters. The US is betting on scenario 3. The base rate of history says scenario 1 is most likely. And scenario 1 means a more dangerous Iran with a accelerated nuclear timeline and a permanent grievance narrative that recruits for generations. So basically, in summary, US remove the constraint above the people who wanted the bomb, and those people are now in charge. And that is the polarity paradox, in which why attacking Iran made Iran more dangerous. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe.